Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Bench. And look where we are, John Wilkin. For those who can't see and are listening, we are in the headquarters at Sky Sports. We've got some very special visitors that have trekked all the way from up north.
It's a mass exodus
to the
from
capital.
the north, isn't it? Everybody's left the north to come down to London. But we're in the podcast studio at Sky.
Yeah.
You can tell because the sound is so much better than when we have to do it on a pitch. And you've got like...
Debatable. It's nice to have some atmosphere in
the
the back.
referees warming up in the background or something.
Yeah.
So this is nice.
Wakefield's Oliver Russell. Leeds Rhinos Lachie Miller. Welcome to The Bench.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Is it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I haven't really left the north too much yet, so...
What do you mean you've not let... Since you've been in the country?
Well, I have.
So when did...
Got to London. I haven't...
So you haven't been to London since you've been in the country?
Nah.
Is this your first time in
Well,
London?
yeah, actually, I went to get on a train and the train got delayed, cancelled or something. So I just got off the train and went back home.
And then you were delayed again today, so it was almost like a sign.
Yeah, well...
So this is your first time in London?
No, I've played here once, but that was
Okay.
a long time ago.
How long?
2018.
What, in a World Club Challenge?
No, like rugby sevens.
Rugby sevens, okay.
Which was cool, but yeah, I didn't really venture out too much, so
Brilliant.
I'll have to get back down here.
And where? So you're in Leeds now? You live in Leeds?
Yep.
Central?
Yep. We just moved. I was in Headingley near the stadium, but
Right.
now just moved around to Roundhay. Good spot.
Yeah, Headingley's pretty cool, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think
it's actually
for uni students.
Yeah.
What do you mean for uni students?
It's like full of uni students, so if you want a party life, it's a pretty good place.
Well, I got a wife
Party
and
life?
2 kids, so
Right,
If
right,
to drive
understood.
the kids out and go down, but nah, not really. It
It's
wasn't for me, but it's a good spot. It's like there's always something happening.
Yeah.
I like Headingley. As an Aussie, I think personally I prefer Manchester to Leeds because I feel like Manchester is very similar to London, but a bit more chilled. So you've got all the cool coffee shops and bakeries and like shops, and it's just a little bit more quiet than the hustle.
But you've not really been
bustle
into
of
Leeds, have you?
London.
Properly?
Yeah, of course I have.
Right.
Into the city centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, there you go.
But I do like Leeds. There's nothing against Leeds. Also love the Rhinos, and Wakefield for that matter.
Oh,
Ollie,
wow.
how are you?
This is where Jenny gets herself in all sorts of problems.
How are
I'm
you?
good, thanks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ready for a big, well, I mean, it's
I'm going to
almost...
say a big weekend in Headingley. Ollie Russell sounds like he knows exactly what goes on in Headingley, let me tell you.
Yeah. So without giving away your actual address, where do you live?
I'm actually from Saddleworth in Oldham.
Yes. That's where Barry McDermott lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see him out ever?
He's my father-in-law, so
Oh, of course. So you must see him quite a bit then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every day, probably.
You see Barry every day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you live next door to each other?
No, I don't live far from him, but I've just bought my first house, so I'll be moving a little bit further away from him.
Yeah.
That's good. Everybody tries
We'll
to
cut
move
that bit
further
out.
away from Barry.
Yeah.
Everybody's always moving away from
Bad Baz. No, we love Barry McDermott. So big season ahead. Wakefield back up in the top flight. You joined them at the start of this season. How are you finding it? How's life under Daryl Powell?
Yeah, it's good. I'm really enjoying it. Probably needed the change. Been at Huddersfield for a long time, so just a bit of a freshen up, which has been good. Just meeting all the new lads, which has been good. And yeah, it's been good with learning off Daryl Powell, Luke Gale, Shenton. Michael Shenton's good coach as well. So yeah, it's been refreshing for me.
When you say freshen up, well, I suppose we're all in this situation. Like you end up somewhere for a long time and you just get so comfortable there, don't you?
Yeah, comfortable, just the same car journey every day, the same. I miss the lads who I used to play with, obviously, because you make best friends. But
Who is your best friend?
my English was
Yeah.
Huddersfield.
He looks like a good lad.
I used to live with him in.
Do you know what I mean?
I used to live with him in
Did you?
apartment in Leeds city centre.
Right.
So
If those
yeah.
walls could talk.
Yeah.
What would we hear?
Not much. Just
awesome,
protein
mate.
shakes being shaked
Yeah.
and a game ready going off.
Yeah,
that sort of
that's
stuff.
how it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I miss the lads, but like you said, it's good to have a little bit.
Was it hard to leave then?
Yeah, probably were hard to leave because the bond. It would leaving the lads that I didn't really want to do.
Right.
But I think to benefit my career is probably the best thing for me to do is to get out of there. Probably.
So when you say that Wakefield have come up into Super League for 2025, what does success look like this year? It's not just to stay up. Is it to compete? Is it to make the playoffs? What does success look like?
I think success for Wakefield this year is probably to be in and around the top 6. I'm not saying get in the top 6, but 8th, somewhere like that. I think it'd
So
be
anything above 8th would
yeah,
be
would be
success.
successful. Yeah.
So we did this at the start of the season with Ryan Bradley, didn't we?
Did we? Yeah.
And
Oh man, what did he say? He said 11th.
anything above 11th.
11th and
Salford, well,
Hmm.
we know where they
Wow.
finished. They finished 4th.
Yeah, he scored.
So maybe, I don't know, it could be a thing. Should I ask you the same question just in case? What's success for the Leeds Rhinos?
That's such a good question, Jenna Brooks, because there's such, with all due, there's a difference in pressure in there. What you both will experience. Yeah, Wakefield can only almost over-deliver. Do you know what I mean? You finish 8th and everyone's like, wow, it's great. As long as you don't finish 11th or 12th, you've probably done all right. Whereas the expectation for Leeds, since I've always known the club, is pretty much silverware. Do you know what I mean? Is that pressure still there, even though it's been a bit of a league spell?
Yeah, I think I've only been there one season, but there's no hiding that we've underachieved. Definitely underachieved last year, I thought. So yeah, we're pretty optimistic about where we want to finish this year, but sort of one game at a time, the old cliche, but that's really how we're taking it. But everyone in the team want one thing, which is what everyone wants. They want to win silverware, so that's what we're striving for. But we want to make the playoffs this year. Obviously missed last year and the year before as well. So as I said, underachieved a couple of years. I think it's time to sort of deliver on what we should be delivering on.
Why do you think Leeds have underachieved?
I think just a lot of different things. Maybe last year there was always a bit of a question mark about what was going on around the club, but I feel like we've got a lot of direction at the moment under Brad, and we've got different coaches in and around there as well. It was like Jamie Langley's a really good fella. I think we just got really good direction, and we've got a good group around that have really bought into what we want to achieve. So I just feel like definitely compared to last year, we're in a completely different spot.
And Brad's had a full pre-season with you. I always thought when Brad Arthur came in as an outsider looking at Leeds, I thought it was an incredibly talented squad that under the right sort of coaching, you felt like he could get a lot more out of you. I thought we saw some signs of that, but give us a glimpse into what Brad Arthur's like, what the difference maybe is with a Brad Arthur coach team as to not having him there.
Well, just the direction. Obviously, last year, you see it in our games. Sometimes we're doing 10 different things at once. But he's very direct, tells us where we want to be and what we want to do, and he's very firm but fair. And he's a good people person. Like, you can talk to him, which makes a really big difference, as I'm sure you know, with coaches. If you can't speak to a coach, then do you really want to play with him and stuff? So he's just really good. Everyone loves having him around. Everyone's terrified of him. So
are they?
Well,
he looks quite scary. No, he is quite a scary looking guy, isn't he?
Strong presence.
He's got
like
a
the stare that coaches have, But no, he's really good. Like, I really enjoy my time.
So has something happened to make you scared of him?
You chased him home with the stick.
Or an apple. We've had him on the podcast actually.
Oh God,
and he had there was an Apple story where he
says he's mellowed a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
The point was, back in the day, he was like brutal with players, like really on it and cruel. And he told us this story. He was eating an apple in his office, and he was saying how the player was,
wasn't performing.
Wasn't as tough as this apple was to eat. But it made me think, actually, some apples are quite difficult, aren't they? No, they're good Granny Smith. And then I was thinking, did he throw the apple at the player?
I can't remember. I'm thinking, let's say that he did.
And I was thinking, but if the coach was to throw any piece of fruit at you, which piece of fruit would you least like to have thrown at you?
Coconut.
Yeah.
Coconut.
That would hurt.
Yeah.
Pineapple.
Brad Arthur was eating a pineapple with the skin on in the office and threw.
That's scary enough, though. Really.
Scary enough.
If you eat it with the skin on, you're like, you don't need to throw it. I'm good.
I get it. I get it. Message that. But no, he definitely has an aura about him. Even like having a in-depth conversation with him on the podcast, it was fascinating.
Yeah, I spoke
about how his coaching mentality has changed over the years, and almost he didn't say that he really had regrets, did he? Yeah. But his time with Parramatta and
he spoke about being a bit like Ollie said about being comfortable. Like he'd been at Parramatta for like 10 years, and all the things Ollie's just mentioned. Where everything's really familiar. Like you sometimes don't have to think, Ollie, when you're
out your comfort zone, aren't you? I'm out of my comfort zone at the moment because I'm meeting new players and speaking to new people, which I'm probably not the most comfortable doing, but I've had to do that because I've signed for a new team, which sort of it gets you out of your comfort zone, definitely.
Yeah, and Brad had to he distilled down all of his learnings as a coach, and he thought, I've never had to actually.
That writes lists, doesn't he?
Yeah, he never actually had to communicate that with people. So I think, again, a change of environment, I think, is really important for people professionally. Like sometimes just getting into a new environment is massive, but he is intimidating.
Yeah, but he sort of brought that, as you mentioned, that change. He's brought that change of environment to Leeds.
Yeah.
So that we haven't had to change club or anything, but we've got a different environment.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just, very refreshing.
And was that sort of instant from him? Do you know, did you just get a sense of what's expected very quickly from him?
Yeah, I think so. It was very quick. He sort of said, this is what we're going to do. Obviously, we're not going to change much now, but when we get this pre-season or whatever it's going to be, this is what's going to happen.
So he obviously came in mid last year. So when he came in, he almost said, we're going to write this season off, because he was only brought over for the first 8 weeks, wasn't he? We didn't.
Yeah.
I
think we're in and around the playoffs still.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of good games. Like we played a good game against Catalans and we're in around it. And then
that's why he defended you like
we played Wigan and won that. So we were, there, but just the same sort of thing. The story of it was a bit of a roller coaster last year. So he didn't write it off, but once we sort of, got out, we actually did like 2 weeks after the end of the season where we had to come back in, and he just, showed us what pre-season is going to be like. So
take us through. He didn't really articulate. I'm actually interested in maybe comparing pre-seasons. That could be fun. So what was pre-season like? I mean,
well, can we talk about
So
can we not talk about this? Right. So the guys are still playing in the playoffs. Grand finals going on in the background, and you brought in, and when you say he gave you a glimpse as to what pre-season might look like, I can only imagine that's something that you want to look at and never look at again.
yeah.
Like, that is not pretty, is it?
Nah. Well, I was injured. So lucky maybe. But it was it was tough for the boys to come in, obviously, but he wants to create a winning culture, which was shown on the other week in the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
He's just brought him in, pretty much said, you should be playing at this time of year anyway. So there's no excuses. So you can train while they play. And that's what you got to get to next year. But it wasn't really nice for them. It's not something that I don't think any player wants to do.
No. So you guys were in training after the grand final or around the grand final?
We split just before the grand final.
Yeah, and Ollie, you...
Can't have been in Tenerife.
Ollie was in Tenerife.
With your Huddersfield, your old teammates, or your teammates?
I was
FaceTime me, actually.
I was with my girlfriend.
And Bat?
No, I went to Greece with Barry.
It really worries me that you had to think about whether Baz was there.
Tenerife with Barry.
I'll tell you what, Baz loves a holiday. So Barry McDermott works for Sky, obviously.
Ollie's father-in-law.
Has he got a flat in Spain?
Oh, okay, let's just breaking news here. So,
well, I'm not married to it.
I know, but you've called him your father-in-law. So does that mean is a ring purchased? Like, could we?
Not yet.
Ladies and gentlemen who are listening and not watching, Ollie's blushing a little bit. So I'm sorry. It's very exciting. Great family.
Great family.
Baz has an aura about him.
Mm.
Doesn't he? He's a bit scary. I mean, as a father-in-law.
How good are his teeth, by the way?
Yeah.
Why are his teeth so good? Any ideas?
Oh, she's unwell, doesn't
She's unwell.
Flosses, well. He flosses too.
I think you might have had a little trip to...
I think we've covered this on previous podcasts.
Turkey.
Let's leave Baz alone.
Full turkey.
Does Baz give you any tips or any, does he watch your game? Obviously, he watches your games because it's his job. But does he, kind of call you up and be like, "Oi, Ollie, do this more or don't do this"? No?
Not really, no.
Really? Would you like him to do that?
No, probably not.
If you want Ollie
he gives me a good life.
Life.
Yeah.
He's the best one.
No,
I can't really anything to nothing really springs to mind, but he knows a lot.
He's a good mentor.
He's a good mentor.
You've got 15 minutes until the end of this pod. Try and have a think, because I'd be fascinated to hear.
What wisdom of Baz?
Yeah.
I think he's really wise.
Oh, absolutely. But that's what I mean. He doesn't share it with me.
He's sharing it with lots of people then.
Is he?
Shares a lot of wisdom with me. He sends me a quote every day.
That's a lie. So you, Ollie, I want to talk about, I suppose, the differences with Huddersfield to Wakefield. Are there differences? What would you say was kind of the biggest change for you?
Probably say the facility wise, because Wakefield 5 or 6 years ago, it was probably a lot of a different place. I probably wouldn't have gone there but the new owners coming in, the facility wise is probably a step up.
What are the dressing rooms like now?
Really, like,
Yeah.
you won't recognise it, but they've got like recovery centre in the stadium. We've got ice bath, sauna.
We should do a piece so that we can show like behind the scenes and the
What
different
ice baths and the sauna.
Well, no, I just mean like get a camera and do, just a.
Yeah, well, I had an idea
Inside.
for Super League, right? And it was like the worst toilet in Super League, and it was Wakefield.
Yeah.
Wakefield's away toilet was the worst toilet in Super League.
Or Cass are bad because you've got Cass Sherwin with the home.
Whoa.
Yeah, would you? Yeah.
Right, Jenna Brooks. This is that.
Cass, you've got to like share your toilets with the home team. So, and there's only 2.
And me as well, actually. When I'm on the touchline, I need to get.
I remember sort of sat down nestling for a sit down with Cass. Obviously,
Okay,
sit down
this
with.
is not that kind of podcast.
Oh, and Jesse Senni-Lafayette was banging on the door trying to get in, and we're just about to go to war with him. Like we're just about to go to full battle with him, and we're just like,
I have a story like that, but it's to do with Warrington. I
please
don't know.
tell her. Yeah.
So I had to use. So I kind of.
The topic is toilets at rugby grounds, isn't it, Jenna? That's the topic.
Well, this is what it's just sprung to mind. It's probably a funny story, and he's so lovely about it. But I usually use, I think it's the drug testing room at Warrington, the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Straight down the tunnel, the door on the right. That's kind of my little area. I put my bag there. I used the toilet there, all of that. So it was well before kickoff. Some of the Warrington players had arrived, and I just barge into my room. I mean, it's not really my room, but I think it's my room. And Paul Vaughan was just on the toilet, just there, and I forgot to close the door and all of that. It was.
Is Paul Vaughan's dropping a cow pat? That's what we've got to say. He had. I spoke to him since. He had a stomach bug, right? So it was like. It wasn't an ordinary toilet situation.
Anyway, it was
it was a
pretty.
very volatile.
He was so lovely. He came in he was extremely embarrassed.
And
I said to him, I will never go into that room ever again. Hand on heart, I promise. I'm done.
You were going to say, I will never tell anybody about this.
Well,
podcast.
Apart from the podcast.
It's almost been a year, so I think it's time that we discussed it. But we'll get Paul on the.
Yeah, and he's recovering. He's not got a stomach bug anymore.
No, he's well. He's great.
Old.
It's going to be, brilliant for Warrington this year. So there's the toilet chat done.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at last season, obviously Wigan won everything on offer. I know we're a few rounds in. You've probably got a bit of an idea about where teams are. It's a long season, though. Do you see Wigan as your biggest threat to silverware? Question for both of you.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah?
They won every trophy, haven't they? So I think if Bevan and Jai stay on the field, then they are going to be pretty hard to take the trophy off, aren't they? Because they're special players, them, aren't they? They can win you a game, even if we're going to not playing well. Yeah, as a team, if Bevan just gets the ball and does something freakish, then...
Yeah.
It's so weird because when you practice against structure all the time, don't you? Like defending structure and stuff. And then some of the things Bevan did at the back end of the year is like... And actually, Lachie, there's stuff that you do as well, is things that are not scripted almost. Yeah. You can't practice to defend some plays that Bevan does. And you're probably similar in that situation,
I think he's a bit more unfair, to be honest.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I remember interviewing you after a game, and you were saying maybe the key to what you were being so effective was that you didn't actually sometimes know what you were going to do.
Yeah, still trying to learn that. Still trying to learn this game. No, well, he's just one of those. Back home, we say the backyard footy players. I'm sure it's a bit similar over here, but he's just got that natural instinct. He's so good. But as Ollie said, they're probably the benchmark. But I think the depth in Super League this year is more than what it was last year. I think it'll be harder to get in the top six. I think the pack will be. I think Hull KR will be very good.
Yeah,
they'll be hungry.
Jared Hargraves, what does he bring besides experience, size? He's a big human.
Oh, massive,
aggressive. Yeah. I think
he's aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah, I think like that leader.
Yeah,
like he's always every team he's been in, he looks like the alpha male. Like Roosters for so long. When he plays for New Zealand, he's just an enforcer, and I think that squad with adding him, and then, in my opinion, Reece, probably best back rower last year.
Reece Martin.
Yeah, and goal kicker. They'll be very, very strong. So.
Well, Hull KR would have won the league last year if they'd have had Reece Martin, really, because they lost in round 4 by a point, lost in round 16 by a point, and they missed conversions, and they just bounced kicking around.
Interesting, isn't it? Like Reece Martin, you said it there. You guys have lost him, so it's hard, isn't it? Can you replace a player like that?
Not really, to be honest, because he's if anyone talks to him, he's just such a good person, and he sort of was our locker room, and then we lose him, and it's like you got to restart again. But we've done a very good job. But obviously, you don't replace players like that. Everyone loved him, sponsors loved him, and he was just like
a dream.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Dream team of last year. Yeah. Outstanding player.
Yeah, and he's always been so consistent, Reece Martin, and his consistency shows in loads of ways. It actually. The 80 minutes performance, his line running, his power, his versatility. Like, he can play a few positions, and it's not really out of place. Chuck him in the centre, and he's sort of okay. But for me, and this is one for you, Ollie, is that the importance of goal kicking is something that you've always, you've always been great at. But is it something, do you think, we don't value enough in the sport?
Yeah, probably. That's the difference probably between rugby league and rugby union. It is the goal kicking there is, I'd hardly see them miss. Rugby union, obviously the hours they'll take in that, but I think we do take it for granted. We don't. I practice maybe after every session a little bit, but I think rugby union dedicate
they got
a couple of hours to it, and I just don't think we take it that serious. When it can win you, it could win you a grand final, it could lose you a grand final. Like Kevin Sinfield, when he played, we used to win grand finals by kicking. So it's massive, and we probably don't take it as serious as we should do.
No, I think Lachie makes a good point about OKR. If you put Hargreaves in there, and then you put Reece Martin in there, and they've already got like Mikey Lewis. Mikey Lewis is on the up, isn't he? He's on the rise. And one thing as an observer is, and I was critical about Leeds about this last year. It is. You've got to be difficult to beat. Defensively, you've just got to be difficult to beat. And I saw like Hull KR found a way to defend for each other. They were tough to break down. I think Willie Peters has done he's
brilliant coach.
A marvellous job. Right?
We have a few minutes left. So on the bench, we have a segment called On and Off the Bench. Before we get to this segment, Ollie, you've had some time. Any
wisdom off back?
Yeah.
Oh no, still nothing.
I really still can't think of one.
Been good.
He's given me that many. It's just sort of general life, really.
Okay, well, you've got a couple more minutes. If it comes, just interrupt me.
I think Jenna's making a point that he's probably not giving you anything.
I said he actually New Year's resolutions, and I'm not very much of a morning person, would you say? So he said, because I used to just get up about half an hour before I should be leaving and bit of a rush, but so he told me to get up an hour before and just slowly, and I'm a little bit more of a morning person now then, so that's
Would you prefer the extra hours sleep?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh
no, I'm a morning. I'm I'm in the morning camp. Those beautiful hours before 7 o'clock in the morning where nobody
on your own and
nobody might.
I'd much rather just be asleep. Okay, on and off the bench. On the bench is something you want to see less of in the game. Off the bench, something you'd like to see more of. Lachie, you've had your thinking cap on.
Are you good to go, or do you want me to? I
can. Yeah, you can go. I've got one for off bench. On the bench, hard.
Off the bench, go. You go.
More teams to Vegas.
Oh yes,
absolutely,
and more Sky Sports staff as well.
Absolutely,
it just sounds like so much fun. And
take the whole sport to Vegas.
Yeah, well,
like 29 rounds.
But how about just Vegas? Let's go to like Toronto. You know Toronto well. That could be fun. We could go Vegas, Toronto.
You go pick up my stuff that's still
touchy subject.
Yeah, let's not talk about.
Sorry, I just it came first thing that came to mind. I love it. That's definitely off the bench for me. I like it.
Is there scope for that to happen though? Is there any discussion?
There's definitely talk about at least another 2 teams from Super League going.
Well, as I understand it, Wigan and Warrington have paid their own way, haven't they? So they've gone, we'll pay for this to go out there. It's not the games funding Wigan and Warrington to go to Vegas for a week, is it?
I mean, I'm not quite sure.
No, I'm saying it's going to take 2 clubs who go, hey, We've got a bit of cash.
Yeah, I guess it depends how much money's made from this round as well, and you could see.
True.
But yeah, I'd love that. I'd love to see more rugby league played in venues, cities like Vegas.
Yeah.
Ollie, have you got something you'd like to see more of in rugby league?
More stars on like like Dancer on Ice and I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out.
Island?
There's never
Pretty MasterChef.
There's never a rugby league player in I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of it, or so you know.
Well, there is. I know, but right. Martin Afire is always that guy, isn't he? Martin Afire, so he's famous in the 90s, played for Wigan in the 90s, and he's sort of done a bit of the dancing stuff. But we need a.
Okay,
yeah,
so
like
if there was
Paul
it would be Paul McShane.
Get
Is that
Paul McShane on Dancing Line.
is that who you? I was going to ask who you'd nominate. Like, who would it be?
I think Aledzki'd go well.
I'm nominated. He's seamless on it every day of the week.
Oh,
Pure comedy, mate.
Is it?
That would just be
Get him on any reality TV.
It would just be such good TV.
Who did you say so?
Seamless on it.
Okay.
He looks like he's hyperactive all the time.
He's funny.
I'd choose Will Price, mate.
Will Price.
Yeah.
He'd be great.
comedy gold, wouldn't
He'd
he?
be great.
Sharp. Plus, and he's got a bit of that.
He's got a bit of
swagger, hasn't he?
Bit of swag.
Yeah, you could see him. One of those little man bags.
Yeah.
Nice pair of Louis Vuitton swimming shorts. Big sunnies. He could be in Love Island.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I think it would help or further get eyeballs on the sport, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause they've become so
Or it could go the other way, couldn't it?
And everyone stops watching it because of.
Well, all right then. Who's the worst person that you could put on there as an ambassador for rugby league? Who's the worst?
My English.
My English.
Dog's body, is it?
My English. Can we get my English on Love Island?
What? I mean, I think he's probably...
I think he said dog's body. I think that's what
okay.
he said.
I'm not sure.
Why not? I think Jake Connor. Because I think
you get some views with him.
No, I just don't think he'd say much, but he'd just be really
He's quite quiet though, isn't he?
His voice doesn't match his
He's
appearance.
Yeah.
I love every time
What
I
do you mean?
speak to him. He's got a different kind of voice to how he looks.
What do you expect his voice to sound like?
I know what you mean.
Deeper.
Like a light voice, if you understand.
Yeah, it's like really
It's got like
lovely. Like it's
that soft
relaxing.
West
Love it.
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I've always wanted to play for Huddersfield, and now I'm playing for Leeds.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you were expecting him to be like, right, I'm buzzing him at Rhinos.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was well done.
Thank you.
Okay, have you got? In
Off
fact,
bench.
we don't have enough time
Oh,
for
can
you.
I do a
We've
quick
only got
off the
3 more
bench?
minutes.
All right, off the bench for
You're
me.
going to go anyway. Pardon?
Scrums.
You want them off?
No,
Want
but
them
then let's
more.
yeah, like compete.
Okay, you sound like Steve.
Right, I watched the rugby.
More from him.
I watched the rugby union, and as much as I hate it sometimes, like it is a bit of a joke we still got a scrum. So if we got it, why don't we make it just a bit competitive, or like at least a bit of separation and then go whack, and then the ball gets put in, or something.
It's good.
I just think or get rid of them.
Lockie's thinking it.
I'm not a forward. It doesn't worry me.
It's
It's a tough job for
It's a
them.
rest for a minute, really.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it looks stupid, doesn't it? They just all lean. They just go there, lean over.
Okay.
Or maybe like it has to be compulsory. Like you have to try and score a try for the scrum if it's not going to be competing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like because
You
with
must-
say lay players, you have to pass the ball wide. You must get it to the wing.
that's better. Yeah, you have to score for score.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, nah. There we go.
Brilliant. Okay, that is your off the bench. On the bench, something you want to see less of in the game.
Players faking injuries.
Oh, yeah.
Have you faked an injury? Well, that's a yes.
No, I don't think I.
You've stayed down.
If I've been took off the ball, maybe to get a penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so everyone does it,
Yeah.
but it just needs to stop.
Yeah.
Do you
Everyone
agree,
does it.
Lockie?
Yeah, it's not great.
The worst one for me is not like if you get hit late and you sort of stay down a bit. The worst one where there's not much happening in a ruck and somebody gets up like I'm holding the neck. I'm poorly neck. That annoys me.
Okay, yep.
Especially when it's a prop that really gets
Yeah.
So super sore.
Lockie, your turn. Something you want to see less of in the game?
Don't know, greatest game of all.
Oh,
And that is the perfect way to end this week's bench episode. Lachie Miller, Oliver Russell, Jon Wilkin, thank you all for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again very soon.